Good afternoon and welcome to Season 4, Episode 69 of The Paper Thing. It is the finale. We will be back with Season 5 on the 23rd of August, but in the meantime, here is the final episode of Season 4. It's a 4-paper show. We've got The Sun, The Mirror, The Times and The Daily Mail. The Mirror will be today's speed round, starting with The Sun. Then moving on to the Mirror for the speed round, then the Times, and concluding with the Daily Mail. Yes. Okay, cool. Did I do the thing? Yes. Boom. Right. So we're going to start with The Sun, as we often do. Front page of The Sun has a good afternoon, Mark Kenosis. Thank you for joining me for the finale of Season 4, Episode 69 of Season 4. Right, yes, so The Sun, front page is following up and continuing on the story of Geronimo, the alpaca, facing a firing squad. His owner says in a suitably dramatic line that's earned her a Sun front page, "I'll take a bullet for Geronimo." Fact check, she will not. So Natasha Clark writes, Geronimo, the alpaca's owner, has vowed to take a bullet for him to save him from Carlos Jobsworths. The stud animal is due to be destroyed by DEFRA after twice testing positive for bovine TB. Farmer Helen MacDonald of Wickwar, Gloucestershire, said, "I can't stand by and let my animal be killed. I'll die first." She is backed by Joanna Lumley. I think it's highly unlikely that DEFRA uses firing squads to put down animals. I'm just saying. Also, I obviously don't want Geronimo the alpaca to die. I hope he doesn't, but there you go. Hi, Slinkamai. Yes, it is episode nice. It is episode 69, the final episode of Season 4. Elsewhere on the front page, a messy out at Barcelona. City's £100 million Jack Grealish, of course, moving from Aston Villa to Manchester City. And in the top right-hand corner, a continued excuse to show pictures of Rihanna in underwear as they continue on the story of her making her first billion. Though, as ever with stories about people making their first billion, when you look into it, that's usually not the case. Mark Kenosis loves how they always use the word destroyed. Yeah. On page 2, shops price hike warning inflation surge fear. Inflation is still hugely lower than it was in the 70s and 80s. On page 3, scriving for attention model Josephine Scriver looks made up at the honour of joining her pal Jasmine Tookes on her hen do. Literally no reason, just excuse as ever for page 3 that isn't page 3 but is page 3 to show a woman in her underwear. Hey, so Turnip 2, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me on the finale of Season 4. On page 3, woke warning on allo. Listen very carefully, I shall censor this only once is the headline. Censors have declared war on classic comedy allo in case woke viewers get upset by gags which poke fun at foreign accents. Again, it's not censored. This is them doing their umpteenth story on the fact that old shows get warnings at the start of them. So on BritBox, the episodes say this classic comedy contains language and attitudes of the time that may offend some viewers. So the show is available. People can watch it, but we get the word censor because for The Sun, words are meaningless, essentially. They just mean whatever The Sun chooses to make them mean. Farage as fuck faces. Hope they let us know if it's going to be inflation so I can get a load of loans out first. Hey, studying Fango, how you doing? And then they do various quotes from LOLO for their aging readers. On pages 4 and 5, cops foresaw terror attack, 10-year baby low. I wonder why that might be. And exclusive owner fights for alpaca. And of course they do the headline, Geronimo's last stand. Yeah. Time was last night running out for Geronimo the alpaca despite his owner's desperate last stand and the backing of sun readers and animal lovers everywhere. Notice that the two are treated as separate groups. Friday's Fuckface says, an owner fighting an alpaca would be more interesting. Well, indeed. Hey, Ged Station, how you doing? Good to see you. On pages 6 and 7, Horde of the Rings on Gong Hall soars to 51 with 3 days to go. This is more medal wins by the UK in the Olympics. Still put Great Britain in the Olympics, which still puts Great Britain at 6th in the medal standing behind China, the USA, Japan, Australia, and the Russian Olympic Committee. The Russian Olympic Committee, yeah. On page 9, DIY Host 58 and New Love 31. Yes, Nick Knowles has got a new girlfriend who is younger than I am. Nick gets fixed up with girl 27 years younger. Horde, H-O-R-D-E. H-O-R-D-E? No. H-O-A-R-D. H-O-A-R-D. Horde of the Rings. Anyway, it's a crap headline. Double shot push to stem hospital rise. Don't hold vac. NHS chief's youth jab plea. 1 in 5 patients are now under 35. Today's Love Island news. Isle pair get Chloe's. Love Island's Chloe Burrows hopes a leopard can change its spots after taking back footballer Toby Amoralaran. Chloe, 25, was dumped by Toby when he fell for Islander Abigail Rawlins, but she took him back after he pleaded for forgiveness. All the important news there. Dr. Rajib Ali says kids over 12 must have jab. It's the last piece in the jigsaw. More Strictly news. LGBT pioneers, Strictly Cha-Cha Chaps. Bake Off John in first all-male pair. John Waite, Great British Bake Off champion, is going to be in Strictly and have the first be part of the first same-sex male pairing, which is cool. On page 15, Ali Ross doesn't like Love Island. What a surprise. Friday's Fuckface says Love Island would be more fun if they just got a bunch of awkward nerds to do it. Well, Hussein Kesvani was saying on Twitter earlier that he felt he would win it. His thread on that is worth reading. It's very funny. So the Rihanna story is honestly just an excuse to show a picture of her in some bright yellow underwear, and the headline, Bill Re-Onair. What's the secret? The secret is she created a very successful lingerie fashion and makeup line. That's the secret. Manchester City ace Phil Foden shows he's the man of the catch. He's the man of the catch. Well, that's a man of the catch. That's a very bad pun. As his club reels in British record signing Jack Grealish, Phil 21 landed the £45 carp on a trip with Dad Phil Senior and 2 pals near Brentwood, Essex. City land another big fish is the headline. So just horribly grotesquely reported story about the death of the 5-year-old who was found in the river. I'm not going to read you the headline or the details of that story. We really don't need it. Plans to release a bombshell film celebrating the life and legacy of Wayne Rooney appear to have hit a stumbling block. The documentary included revealing interviews with the former Manchester United football ace, his wife Colleen, and stars included David Beckham. But insiders tell Simon Boyle of Bizarre, chinny reckon anyone's told you this, that it may be on the back burner as a result of the Derby County boss's night on the towers with a blonde model and her 2 pals. City Greel in another big fish is excellent. Well done, Farage Fuckface. Mark Canosis hit a stumbling block as he has neither life nor legacy that's worth watching. Yes. Fergie has apparently got a second romance book coming out. It doesn't, as far as we can tell, feature a man who claims he cannot sweat. On page 23, after beach evacuated, welcome to Dorset. Dorset set hit by string of shark scares. Swim lads terror as fish brushed leg. Jesus Christ. And then a story here that actually we knew about before we saw it in the Sun. Pier is ablaze. A fire broke out at Britain's shortest pier yesterday. Plumes of smoke billowed from the 117-year-old structure of Burnham-on-Sea, Somerset. Flames were seen in a wooden storage area and bin, but high winds risked spreading them further. 4 fire engines were called to tackle the blaze. The extent of the damage was unclear last night.
That's for smallest fire.
He is, yeah. Kid in the room is on holiday over near there and was near to this fire. Luckily, she is absolutely fine, and we talked to her on the phone last night. On page 25, curry shock. There's none so big. Korma Off It. A curry house is offering a dish of 15.5 pounds of food and challenges diners to eat it all by themselves in under an hour. The £35, 50-item grand thali includes curries, side dishes, rice, bread, desserts and lassi drinks. Lee Drennan, 29, ordered it at Lily's in Ashton under Line Greater Manchester. The reward for finishing? A t-shirt. No one has yet managed it. Love it. Look at that. Look at that. That's a beast. I'd give it a go. There's no way I'd get anywhere near finishing that. Coronation Street bosses officially killed off Norris Cole after actor Malcolm Hebden quit the soap. The headline, Stone Cold. Street's legend Norris is dead and buried on show. 2 years ago, Norris was seen leaving Weatherfield for Stillwater's retirement home. In January, The Sun revealed Malcolm, 81, had quit for good. Now producers have filmed Norris's funeral with Ken Barlow, played by Bill Roach, Helen Worth as Gail Platt, and on-screen ex-wife Mary Taylor, actress Patty Clare, all in attendance. An insider said, Norris was a huge character. Yes, he's not real. It doesn't matter. Robin Hood Men Without Tights is their headline for the story about nudists in Sherwood Forest. All the papers are covering that today. Rock on Ronnie, Rolling Stones legend Ronnie Wood finds an emotional rescue, and he and his wife open a studio for young stars of the future. Ronnie, 74, and wife Sally, 43, were all smiles as guests of honour at the charity facility in Canning Town. Heidi Klum has worn a bikini, so that's worthy of a story. And they have got a picture of the council boss who okayed the mound in Marble Arch. The headline on that one, a classic Sun headline. This is the pillock who put up the hillock. Marconosis is going to need an alibi from Sinan for that Sherwood Forest nudity. He's not in the chat, so who knows? He may be in Sherwood Forest getting nude. What Fave Condiment says about you, they've followed up on yesterday's pointless PR survey about condiments by talking to a psychologist who makes up absolute load of bullshit about what sauces mean for you. Apparently, if you like brown sauce, you're stubborn. If it's malt vinegar, you like revenge. If it's mint sauce, you're energetic. Salad cream represents calmness. Barbecue sauce equals risk taker. What the fuck? Soy sauce equals guarded. Burger relish means unforgiving. English mustard means you're a problem solver. Mayonnaise means you're a deep thinker. And ketchup says you're easygoing. I like all these sauces, so I must, be a product of many split personalities. On page 31, will Moo marry me? Farmer Lewis White popped the question by spraying "Will you marry me?" on 2 of his cows. So, this will be a story that's coming from an agency. SK Crusaders in to claim that he lives far from Sherwood Forest. Farage's fuck face is a great old SNL sketch where they're at a nudist beach and keep talking about each other's penises. Nudists in Sherwood Forest, sure, why not? There is a naturist area there, but the claim is that the naturists are spreading beyond their natural area. Balak's son dies in crash, really horrible. The teenage son of former Chelsea and Germany football Michael Ballack has been killed in a quad bike crash. On pages 32 and 33, TV drama on WPC told to get a confession from suspect Colin Stagg. Cop forced to seduce Rachel Nickel killer was incredibly brave, says Neem Alga, who played the honey trap officer. No, that's bollocks. She was involved in trying to set up an innocent man and is now in witness protection following that. Mark Kenosis, naturists, give them an inch and they'll take a yard. Anyway, if you want to know more about what happened with Colin Stagg and various other people who were subsequently found to be innocent but were harassed by the British press and... Oh, God. My hair is going crazy. British press and police, do check out the newsletter at brokenbottleboy.substack.com. It's in an earlier edition if you spin back through the archive. Last night's TV, Undercover Big Boss got an okay review. Today's recommended shows, Epic Wales on Channel 4, Nordic Murders on More 4, King Gary on BBC One, and Motorhoming with Merton and Webster, the most Alan Partridge offering on TV tonight as Paul Merton and his wife Suki Webster drive around in a large motorhome. Yep. Sigma is personally responsible for a lot of nudity in Epping Forest. Mark Kenosis is pro-cow vandalising content. Studying Fangirl says, would love the David Attenborough documentary about naturists in their natural habitat. Friday's Fuckface, Undercover Big Boss sounds like a James Bond Bruce Lee crossover. I wish it was. The Merton and Webster show actually does sound quite cute. Yeah, fair, it does, but still. In Dear Deirdre, wife doesn't know of my longing to be a woman, writes someone. Again, yes, Deirdre offers decent advice, but do write to someone who can more directly give you advice. Will Tinder antics reboot marriage? In my husband's wedding vows, he said he'd love me for my humour, so why does it drive him mad now? I've downloaded Tinder to keep me entertained. I had no intention of meeting my matches. It was harmless flirting. But I enjoy talking to these strangers and will constantly check my phone for messages. Yeah, that's a terribly bad idea. Fear son may lose girl over porn use. I worry my son will lose a love of life if he can't curb his porn addiction. He's 32 and spends hundreds of pounds a month on premium subscriptions to sites like Pornhub and OnlyFans. This feels made up to me. How does this mother know about what her son is spending his money on? I've caught him watching adult content a few times when he lived at home. My husband and I weren't that worried. We thought it was just teenage curiosity. But his last girlfriend told him she was worried. She was worried when she saw his internet history. He was spending at least 5 hours a day on the site. Jesus Christ. Friday's Fuckface. Dear Deirdre is weirdly the most untransphobic part of the British media. Yeah, curious, isn't it? I worry incontinence will put her off, writes someone else. And my lover is still going off on dates, says someone. Another person. Tracy Lee Sayer writes that she saved £2,450 by renting outfits. Another good way of saving money on clothes is by buying second-hand clothes. Imagine that. They review various school uniforms from different supermarkets, which is sort of quite good consumer journalism, to be honest. A £50 letter today comes from Sarah Osborne, who says, at the age of 80, Rolling Stones drummer Charlie Watts is champing at the bit to rejoin the band on their No Filter US tour following an op. I saw the Stones in 1969 and thought they were amazing. Who'd have thought they'd still be at the top of their game 50 years later? That letter has clearly been heavily rewritten, or in fact written by someone in the Sun office. The new undiscovered Prince record gets reviewed. It gets 4 stars. Martha Wainwright is interviewed. Her record gets 4.5 stars. The new Barbara Streisand record gets 4 stars. The new Will Young record gets 4 stars. The new Billie Eilish also 4 stars. In the movie reviews, The Last Letter from Your Lover gets 2 stars. Zola gets 3 stars. Stillwater gets 3 stars. A altogether mediocre week at the cinema. In the sport, this is my dream team. Jack, I just couldn't say no to Pep. Jack Grealish admitted he could not say no to Pep Guardiola after he became the first £100 million British footballer. There we go. Mark Kenosis. I saw the Stones in 1969. It was amazing, although a man was stabbed to death. Mark, far be it for me to cast aspersions on your recollections, but I do not believe you're an ultimate. Studying Fangirl would love a dress code survey. It would probably be quite enlightening. The porn thing is the plot of the film Don John is. Don John's not a bad film, actually. Right, so anyway, give me a score for the Sun. Of course, from me, it's a classic minus negative nice. A double negative nice, in fact, minus 69.69. Then we are going now to move on to the Daily Mirror, which will be the last speed run of Season 4. Can I get through the Daily Mirror in 2 minutes? Probably is my answer. Let's get that up. Slinkermeyer says minus 69.69, the classic double negative nice for the Sun. Mark Kenosis with a on-brand deranged score of minus 69 bullets tearing through the body of an alpaca. Very dark. Right, here we go. I'm going to use the timer on my phone, as we've learnt that using the timer on Google just causes all sorts of problems. In the future, I may have an on-screen timer in Season 5 as I attempt to make the show anywhere near as technologically advanced as Ged Stations is. If you've not seen a Ged Station stream yet, do get involved. His is excellent and makes this look Stone Age in its primitive nature. Right, okay, here we go. 2 minutes starting now. Front page of the Daily Mirror. Ant of Ant and Dec is getting married again, so that's a story. Main story, Johnson is the pit. Basically, Boris Johnson's crass comment about the coal mines. And £100 million Man City signed Jack Grealish. British rush to get away before travel chaos. It's RAP. It's a rip-roaring send-off is their coverage of the Corrie thing. Brits make a break for it. Coronavirus crisis, leap in last-minute holidays, red mist, coronavirus jet passengers, heartbreak, stepdad and mum in court over murder of Logan 5, horrendous. Matt'll do nicely is their headline for the Olympic wins. I'm Bake in the first Strictly all-male team, that's their coverage of the Strictly story. New romance is what they say about Ant from Ant and Dec getting married. Curry challenges biggest bar none is their one for that. Ham-fisted Tyson takes on Pepper in pig fight. Apparently, Tyson Fury dreams of landing his mighty right hook on the chops of Peppa Pig. He's not a fan of Peppa Pig. Ian Highland is just tedious. A woman who is 108 says what keeps her going is whiskey. There's a story about a man who was a secret bigamist. That's not bigamist or clever of him. 1 minute to go. They've taken a piece of my soul. Mum's agony is 7 jailed for drive-by murder of innocent girl. Horrendous. In real Britain, the lost kids groomed into county lines. Very, classic story there. Egg time is the way to go, so studying fangirl. Agree. How video thrilled the radio stars 40 years after MTV launched. They review various teas. Needle phobia stops some getting the jab, writes Dr. Miriam Stoppard. There is an ad for coins. Coins, coins, coins. It's the £319 sovereign one. We've seen that one a lot. In the music, they review Tito Jackson's album, Brian May's solo album, Will Young and Barbara Streisand. In the letters, they say, are you impressed with the Strictly lineup so far? Some are, some aren't. And that is it in the sport. New Moon, Grealish's dream come true. City of the best, and playing for Pep will be special. In with a couple of seconds to spare. That is the Daily Mirror. It's up at its usual fairly boring. Not enough animal stories in it. I give it minus 68. Not even quite negative nice. Right, time for the roll call on this finale show. Will I stop going on about it being the finale? Hard to say. Impossible to say. Probably not. So I'm the Broken Bottle Boy. Follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. SK the Crusader is in the mod squad. Do check him out. I'm sure he's on stream tonight, and we'll tell you in the chat what that stream will be. In the room with me is person in the room making various noises over spreadsheets. Also in the chat, Drifyad, Ferrage's Fuckface, Farai Bentos, Ged Station, the excellent Ged Station, Chronotherm, Lady Baskers, Logeno9, Mark Kenosis, Morin Skell, Passing for Human, the ever excellent Slinkermeyer, Studying Fangirl, the Royal Flush, Toy Moy, and XMNN420. Examine 420? Something like that. Alright. SK's on tonight from 6 p.m. in the YouTube zone and still need videos, so send them to him. I will send you a video after the show. Right, let's get the times up. I'm just going to catch up with the chat. Bros, Tito Jackson. Sinclair was a fuck yeah for the old lady with her whiskey in the mirror. Ged Station says, all about the man behind the screen on this one, Mick. Well, thank you, Ged. That's nice of you. Right, here is the Times. Front page of the Times. Messi leaves Barcelona, superstar forced to quit, cash-strapped club. Their bricks and mortar supplement is in here. 12-page property pullout. We won't be looking at that. Backlash after PM says Thatcher pit closures were eco-friendly. Lies would be a better one, wouldn't it? Lies that they were eco-friendly. Get jabbed or miss the fun, adverts tell the young. They're briefed in about what these ridiculous and terrible-looking adverts are going to do to try and encourage more young people to take the jab. As far as I can tell, most young people want the jab. And have tried to get the jab. Many people are unable to get it due to being, on horrible shift patterns, all sorts of stuff. Studying Fangirl says, also worth checking out yesterday's VOD for Harry Potter cult content. Yes, I was not able to see the show yesterday, but I am going to watch that later because I'm looking forward to that. Elsewhere on the front page, of course, we've got their coverage of the nude walkers the nudists in Sherwood Forest. Merry bands of nude men rile walkers in Sherwood Forest. Merry men have been roaming Sherwood Forest in the nude, and fully clothed walkers are not happy. There's been a petition launched asking Nottinghamshire County Council and the RSPB that is responsible for the Forest Nature Reserve to clamp down on groups of male nudists. So for these people, tits are fine, but cocks are not. Anyway, there's actually, there is a claim that a nude man jumped out in front of a woman, which of course would be a sex crime. But there is also a naturist area in the forest, which has been there for a long time. RSPB spokesman having probably quite a shit day yesterday said, it asked for considerate behaviour from everyone, and that naturists enjoyed Bodby Forest for decades, adding, the RSPB does not tolerate sexual, abusive or intimidating behaviour of any kind. Meanwhile, Mick Allen, the council's communities manager, another man probably having a bad day yesterday, said, naturism is in appropriate circumstances is legal, and we are not therefore in a position to ban naturists from Sherwood Forest. We would, however, encourage anyone who feels harassed, alarmed or distressed to report the matter to the police. Seems reasonable, doesn't it? On page 3, from catwalk to bedroom, as fashion houses play a new game. Louis Vuitton has made a smartphone game called Louis the Game to mark 200 years. The game follows Vivienne, a flower-shaped mascot who naturally dresses in Louis Vuitton clothing and unlocks stories about the founder's life while crossing whimsical versions of Paris and other landscapes. Frankly, that sounds shit. Goldilocks planet may harbour seas. A rocky world 35 light years away from Earth is a good candidate for alien life. According to scientists, the planet in the constellation Volans is in the Goldilocks zone, the right distance from a cool, bright sun for seas to be liquid. Dr. Oliver Demangion of the University of Porto and lead author of the study in the journal Astronomy and Astrophysics said we have hints of the presence of a terrestrial planet in the habitable zone of this system. Professor Maria Osorio, a co-author of the Centre for Astrobiology in Madrid, added that the planet had an atmosphere that could allow for life. Discovery is an important step in the quest to find extraterrestrial life, the scientist said. 3 inner planets in the system, whose star is called L9859, had been spotted previously. 2 are mainly dry, and another is also an ocean world, but it's too warm for organisms to exist. Their study was based on an analysis of data collected by the European Space Observatory's Very Large Telescope, love that name, VLT, in the Atacama Desert, Chile. It found that the exoplanets resemble Earth, Venus, Mercury, and Mars. The detection of signs of life depends on the ability to study atmospheres. While current telescopes are not large enough, the European Space Agency's Ariel will be doing so by the end of the decade. Presumably that could also be called the Very, Very Large Telescope. I like the phrase Goldilocks zone. It's clever. It's stunning, Fangirl. I agree. It's good. And Mark Kenosis, the Louis Vuitton thing sounds terrible, but it'd be worse if it was Chanel. It would. On page 3, some old Beatles set lists have been found. They are not as interesting as the Times seems to think they are. They cover the fact that Charlie Watts is out of the Stones tour for a little while after surgery. Extinction Rebellion activist has conviction for blocking road quashed. Notice that when their convictions happen, they're on the front pages of the newspapers, but this one is hidden at the bottom of page 5. An Extinction Rebellion protester had a conviction for blocking a road quashed yesterday following a successful appeal. Amelia Halls had denied unlawfully obstructing Hartman Road near London City Airport during the so-called October Rebellion 2019. Halls, 23, was convicted by magistrates who gave her a conditional discharge in order to pay £421. She's one of many activists who have launched appeals after the Supreme Court ruled on June 25th that the convicting protesters for temporary road obstructions was not proportionate. Judge Mark Dennis, QC, had demanded a review after another XR protester, Robert McQueen, 65, won his appeal against obstructing a road. The judge said that there seemed to be a fundamental problem with the cases and asked prosecutors to review all remaining cases where a protester argued they had a lawful excuse to occupy a road. The money that she'd been made to pay is now going to be automatically returned. But look, the policing bill is going to make appeals like this impossible. Raj Fuckface thinks there's also a doc about the Very Large Telescope, which is also about Pinochet. If you can find the name of that, that would be interesting. Pole vault's nearly woman soars over critics with a medal at last. Holly Bradshaw won Britain's first Olympic pole vault medal with a bronze in Tokyo. But if the Games handed out medals for persistence, 29-year-old would have won gold. Bradshaw has overcome body shaming, being dropped by a sponsor, injuries and being labelled the nearly woman of Team GB to finish on the podium. Her bronze medal came after 5th and 6th place finishes at the last 2 Olympics. Northwest leads Race for Glory with 20 athletes on the podium. Elbowed swimmer feared losing an eye. And from diver to jumper, Tom Daly's made a jumper which says Team G on the back. Okay, that documentary is called Nostalgia for the Light. Thank you, Roger's Fuckface. I'll try and check that out. You probably saw this on Twitter, as did the Times, which have picked this up as a story. Campaigners have been angered by finding small octopuses for sale in Morrison's for just 36p, which is, is an appallingly low price for such an amazing creature as the octopus. Of course, octopuses and octopuses, there's various ways of saying it, and lobsters are included in the forthcoming animal sentience bill. Chickens raised from Morrison supermarkets have been filmed in extreme pain caused by breeding designed to make them unnaturally large. Chickens whose meat is sold as welfare assured were seen with deformed legs. Some frantically flap their wings before collapsing in pain, according to the animal rights group Open Cages, whose work was first reported in the Daily Mirror. Stuff like this. Welfare assured, other things like this. There's schemes that have very little meaning when you actually look into them. Watchdog investigates Calais charity over Syria's governance fears. Charity that helps migrants in northern France and the UK has been investigated by a watchdog because of Syria's governance fears, writes Matthew Dathan. I'd always be suspicious about this because Dathan is pretty much always a mouthpiece for the Home Office. He claims sources have told him the Charity Commission began an inquiry into Care for Calais after saying it had concerns that its existing arrangements may not be appropriate for a charity of its size. The regulator believes this could lead to potential further problems regarding financial controls and safeguarding policies, so this seems to be a technical thing. In an announcement yesterday, the Charity Commission said it had first been in contact with trustees at Care for Calais in August. It began proactively identifying concerns arising around the charity's accounts. After initial engagement, wider concerns arose over the charity's governance, including lack of clarity about the appointment of trustees and how decisions were made. The Charity Commission said it examined mismanagement and or misconduct in the administration of the charity by the trustees, financial controls and safeguarding. It also looked at trustees' responses to the Commission's request for information. The regulator will make recommendations to ensure that Care for Calais is operating in line with its governing document, relevant laws and best practice. Things like this happen a lot, but it's framed like this, of course, because of the Times' general feeling around refugees and migrants in the Channel. And of course, they put that at the top of migrant channel crossings hit new peak. And on the same page as a story briefed in by the Home Office saying that drug sensing tags are going to be used to cut crime. And another story about Charles Maloney that says Durham University has been accused of failing to prevent the bullying and harassment of staff after the principal of one of its colleges was alleged to have intimidated colleagues. Professor Kunle Adeyeye, head of Trevelyan College, is accused of reducing colleagues to tears and making sexist remarks. He quit the university's committee on bullying policy after The Guardian approached him last week. It's understood that Adeyeye, who was also accused of having endangered fear, has remained as principal. 5 former members of staff told the newspaper they experienced intimidating behaviour or misogynist comments from Adeyeye, who joined the university in January last year. A former colleague claimed they were close to a breakdown and would drive home in tears following Adeyeye's venom and nastiness. Another said that Durham was failing to tackle its bullying problem. Well, it would not surprise me if a university was failing to deal with bullying problems. There are lots of those issues in academic environments. Lady Basker says welfare schemes are meaningless, and if we did to any other species what is routinely done to farmed animals, it would be called torture. Yes, that background image is cursed, C122, H122. If you want to know why Fraser Nelson is emerging from the worst toilet in Scotland, go to the news. Go and check the newsletter out today, brokenbottleboy.substack.com, which is about the latest bout of awfulness at the Spectator and a very FBPE-asked sting on it. Moving on, one of the most toxic animals seems to have an antidote to its own nerve agent. The golden poison frog causes paralysis, cardiac arrest, but scientists believe that it has sponge proteins that mop up its poison. The US study reported in the Journal of General Physiology could lead to better toxin antidotes. A small family firm has defeated Oatly in the courts. Good. Yes, that's right, Friday's fuckface. Unheard is funded by the same guy who funds GB News, Paul Marshall. Paul Marshall is the father of Winston Marshall, the Mumford & Sons free speech banjo wanker. Grouse shoots have been accused in climate change alert. Vast areas within Britain's national parks are being damaged by grouse shooting, according to a conservation charity. No shit. More on the death of that boy, age 5. Really horrible story. 2/3 of tax penalties are overturned. Tax authorities have been accused of rushing investigations into people accused of not paying the right amount or facing fines for late fees after figures showed that 2 in 3 demands were overturned on appeal. And if you're a big company, they just don't look into it. Singing in the Rain at Sadler's Wells Theatre gets 3 stars. C122, H122 says Banjo Wanker needs to get a poster or a tattoo. Yeah. Maureen Skell says Mumford and Trust Fund Sons. Yes. 7 jailed over drive-by shooting of law student. It was a horrendous story, that. The shark story that gets a full page in the Sun gets a down page, tiny story in the Times with the headline "Shark Scare Clears Beach." And why is that? Because the Times, while insidious in its own ways, doesn't believe that its readers will be fooled into thinking that Jaws is stalking the south coast of England. Heritage sites given £14 million to help disabled visitors, not nearly enough money. A snuff box with which Nelson is said to have impressed his mistress Emma Hamilton is on sale for £45,000. Nelson gave the tortoiseshell box to George Unwin, his personal secretary, at a dinner party in Sicily in the late 1790s, attended by Hamilton. An act of generosity after the aide had lost his own that had been interpreted as an attempt to show off to the female guest. Their celebrated affair began around the same time, continuing until Nelson's death on HMS Victory at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. Nelson and Hamilton first met in 1793 and reunited after he suffered a head injury in the Battle of the Nile in 1798. Hamilton and her elderly husband, Sir William Hamilton, ambassador to Naples, nursed him to health. The box, being sold by the Bristol Memorabilia Company, Paul Fraser Collectibles, has a miniature watercolour scene of the Amalfi Coast on the top. It passed down in Unwin's family, and a letter from his son, also called George, telling its history is included in the sale. In the comment section, James Forsyth parrots government talking points as his wife, Allegra Stratton, who is employed by the government, will no doubt be delighted by. He writes, COVID is unlikely to transform the way we live. In the same way the world order returned to normal after 9/11, the city of 2041 will look much the same as it did pre-pandemic. Yeah, The fucking world order in Afghanistan and Iraq didn't return to normal, did it? Didn't return to normal for hundreds of thousands of people. Many people didn't get the opportunity to return to normal as they died in the post 9/11 wars, forever wars. So fuck off. Elsewhere in the comments section, Emma Duncan says the education arms race is out of control. It's talking about private schools. But not in a way that actually would lead to any meaningful change. Anne Treneman in the Notebook is some old shit. Gerard Baker says the far left will be delighted by Andrew Cuomo's demise. A, he's not fucked off yet, and B, what? Because only the far left are bothered by sexual harassers? Fridays Fuckface, laughing my ass off at someone saying there was no lasting impact to 9/11. Mad shit. Absolutely mad shit. In the birthdays today, Sir Chris Bonington, mountaineer, made the first British ascent of the North Wall of the Eiger in 1962. He's 87. Sir Jonathan Baker, Lord Justice of Appeal, is 66. Richard Baker, the chairman of Whitbread until 2018 and the British Retail Consortium until 2018. Then, previously chief executive of Boots till 2007, is 59. Lord Guy Black of Brentwood, the deputy chairman of the Telegraph Media Group, is 57. Billy Boston, the rugby player and member of the team that won the 1960 Rugby League World Cup, is 87. Maria Caulfield, the Conservative MP for Lewes, the assistant whip, is 48. Sir Ian Cheshire, the chairman of Barclays Bank UK until 2020, is 62. Vice Admiral Sir Ian Corder, the Lieutenant Governor of Guernsey, Lieutenant Governor of Guernsey, UK military representative to NATO until 2016, is 61. Mary Davis, the chief executive of the Special Olympics, is 67. Michael Dealey, the film producer of The Italian Job, The Deer Hunter, Blade Runner, is 89. Bill Emmett, the editor-in-chief of The Economist till 2006, now an author, is 65. Romola Garai, the actress, is 39. Joe Glanfield, the sailor and two-time Olympic silver medalist in 2004, 2008, is 42. Lord Andrew Green of Deddington, the founder and president of Migration Watch UK, is 80. Jerry Horner, née Halliwell, the singer, is 49. Professor Sir James Howe, the physicist, is 76. Max Lusada, the chief executive of recorded music at Warner Music Group and chairman and chief executive of Warner Music UK, is 48. Conor McPherson, the playwright, known for The Weir, and also a director, is 50. David Peaty, the chief executive of the Nuclear Decommissioning Authority, is 67. Richard Print, the painter and photographer, is 72. Paul Rosebery, the chief executive and artistic director of the National Youth Theatre, also a broadcaster, is 55. Chris Sherwood, the chief executive of the RSPCA and Relate until 2018, is 41. M. Night Shyamalan, film director of Glass and other things, is 51. I mean, why do they say Glass and not The Sixth Sense? Marianne Seacart, the writer and broadcaster, is 60. Roger Weatherby, chief executive of Weatherby's Private Bank, is 59. Michelle Yeoh, the actress Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, is 59. On this day in 1971, the British sailor Che Blythe became the first person to sail single-handedly non-stop westward around the world against prevailing winds and currents. And the last word today goes to Horace Walpole, the writer, politician and collector. In a letter to William Cole in 1774, the way to ensure summer in England is to have it framed and glazed in a comfortable room. Fridays Fuckface, why Glass and not The Last Airbender, which he genuinely enjoyed. Yeah, I mean, Glass is just a weird, I guess space in the column. Iran could build nuclear bomb within 10 weeks is the claim. They always claim this shit. Israel warned that Iran could produce a nuclear warhead within 10 weeks yesterday, as Ebrahim Raisi, a hardline judge known as the Butcher of Tehran, was sworn in as president. We get this shit all the time when they want to ramp up warfares with Iran. Hitmen posed as doctors in PPE to kill politician. A team of assassins in Honduras bluffed their way into a politician's home disguised in full medical gear before shooting her dead. Carolina Echeverria, a former MP who stood to be a presidential candidate and was running again to win back her former seat, let the killers in because her husband was in bed with COVID-19. Fucking hell. Honduras is so scary. Chronothon, doesn't Iran make nuclear weapons every other week, according to Israel? Seems so. Cuomo aide accused of victim smear campaign. When Andrew Cuomo was accused of sexual harassment, a group of female aides that he referred to as the Mean Girls worked to undermine the allegations of his accusers, according to a report by New York Attorney General Letitia James. She said Melissa DeRosa, who in 2017 became secretary to the governor, the first woman to hold the post, had helped to leak confidential files relating to Lindsey Boylan, a former aide who was first to publicly accuse Cuomo of impropriety. The report concluded that the leak was intended to discredit Boylan and it constituted an unlawful retaliation. Well, no shit. There's a guy claiming that he's the rightful heir to the throne of Monaco and suing for 350 million euros in France. He is the most deposed aristocrat-looking guy. Like, if you dressed a boiled egg up as a weird minor European royal. Families in Spain will be allowed to exhume Civil War dead. A mafia boss from the Indraga to the syndicate based in Calabria, notorious for drug trafficking, extortion, money laundering, has been found holed up in Madrid. In the business news, the Bank of England says it's ready to raise rates. There's Amazon puts return to office on hold as Delta variant takes hold in the US. That's the return to the office for people who work in offices, of course. If anyone who works in their warehouse can just go fuck themselves. They write about Paris Hilton's cookery series. James Marriott reviews Lena Dunham's new podcast, gives it 4 stars. And the New Statesman's Westminster Reimagined podcast and gives it 4 stars. David Hare, the playwright, basically concludes that he's the only man who knows about anything in a really weird and smug article. Matt Damon's new film Stillwater gets 4 stars, but Last Letter from Your Lover gets 2 stars. Moonbound only 2 stars. Profile only 2 stars. Boys from County Hell sounds really good, but only in a few cinemas. That gets 4 stars. Zola gets 4 stars. Streisand's new album gets 4 stars. In classical music, Die Totstadt, Jonas Kaufmann's DVD recording of that, gets 5 stars. The Apple Drop, the new Liars record, gets 3 stars. A 50th anniversary reissue of All Things Must Pass by George Harrison, 5 stars for that. And 4 stars for Habibi Funk Kasbah's new compilation and eclectic selection of music from the Arab world, part 2, which is good. Hey, Urban Bongo, how are you doing? Yeah, that weird aristocrat does look like Humpty Dumpty. C122, H122. In a TV review, I Am Victoria gets 4 stars. Buffering gets 3 stars. In the obituaries, Baron Hermann von Richthofen, German ambassador to London, whose suave and polished manner failed to win over a suspicious Margaret Thatcher, has died. His great uncle was Baron von Richthofen, the Red Baron. His sense of humour was tested by a request from a former prisoner of war, and when he was interviewed by The Sun, they put the headline on it, "The Hun meets the Sun." So there you go. Not that we're a completely brain diseased country that can't get over the world wars. Also in the obit, Simon Dring, a fearless foreign correspondent who was lauded for his witness accounts of government atrocities in East Pakistan. He has died aged 76. And Peter Wynne Thomas, the leading cricket statistician, Nottinghamshire president, and long-serving England and Wales Cricket Board archivist. He has died aged 86. They're still trying to sell you a share in a racehorse, £59 per share in Fair Part Sivola. There's an ad for Times Radio. I mean, really. Henry Winter says about on the Messi story, bitter exit for Messi is strange, sad and wrong. Grealish says he's gone to Man City because he's looking forward to playing with Kevin De Bruyne. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows he has to deliver trophies at United after a busy transfer window. Can Ishmael help West Brom bounce back? I don't know, maybe. They write about the rugby. 2 pages on the rugby. They wrote about the cricket. Archer injury, a blow to Ash's pace plan. Over to you, Ollie. Says Simon Wilde. Mike Atherton has a report on England versus India. Anderson strikes instant first blow in Kohli's duel. My brother started this. I can finish it in the boxing. Is what Galal Yafai, the youngest of 3 boxing siblings from Birmingham, who won his flyweight semi-final, a hard close contest, says he's going to do in going for the gold. And on the back page, Messi leaves as Barca hit by cash crisis, and no ashes for World T20, no ashes or World T20 for Jofra Archer. That's the Times. Was there any animal stories in there? Standard -69, I'd say. Farage's Fuckface has a new strategy for the horse shares idea. They should put a pic of the horse with a shotgun pointing at it and say, invest or the horse gets it. I reckon that would be it'd be an effective strategy. Right, finally we come to the Daily Mail, our last paper in this, the final episode of Season 4, episode 69, the finale. A big glug of water. Slinkmeyer rates the Times a -69, a standard negative nice. Okay, so here we go with the Daily Mail. At the top of the page, how to think yourself sexy. I'd have to think very hard. The main story, the height of hypocrisy revealed. Climate Minister jetted to 30 nations in the last 7 months. 6 of them on red list, and while other travellers face crippling costs of quarantine, he hasn't isolated once. Pretty standard story. C122H122 says, is there a stream tomorrow? Yes, there will be a bonus stream. What will happen in the bonus stream? Who knows? Probably magazines. Yes, drinking as ever the delicious mustard. Mustardy good.
Don't even.
Just spotted person in the room stealing sweets from kid in the room's jar. Stealing sweets from a child. Imagine that. Right, front page, we covered that. Inside, someone has crocheted a horrible jumper for Harry Styles. Apparently other people want it as well. Think yourself sexy. Yeah, I don't actually know what that's about. I know person in the room's read it, but we'll get through to it in a minute. 6 red list trips, no quarantines. This continued story about Alex Sharma. I mean, it is pretty grim and hypocritical. Page 6, Wonderwalls helps pedal Team GB to 51 medal haul. High voltage Holly triumphs. That's in the high jump. No stay of execution for tragic Geronimo. That's their story on the alpaca. £100 million jackpot. England's Grealish becomes first British footballer to break the mega transfer barrier, as Ramsey set for £100 million deal with US TV. Allegedly, Gordon Ramsay set to sign another big deal. Studying Fangirl, sad to miss special episode. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll do the special episode Sunday. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to do it Sunday. Now slash costs of holiday tests. Census rules and rip-off fees are a minefield. Writes Mark Palmer, the travel editor. Yeah, I'm gonna do it Sunday evening. I'm gonna do the special episode. Britain's back jabs for kids. Survey says 70% want over 12s vaccinated. Anti-vax lawyer died of COVID 9 days after saying virus was nothing to fear. They've got a whole page on Punch and Judy. New record as 482 migrants cross Channel in a single day. Again, this is all briefed in by the Home Office. Livy Purvis says the secret stress and upset behind the sad figures. She's writing about abortion, and then person in the room has highlighted a particular paragraph in Libby Purvis' comment here. She said, "It isn't only intimate, honest, loving sex that produces babies," to which the person in the room has written quite rightly, "Stop policing pleasure, you prick." Sarah Vine has interviewed Fergie for some reason. Right, here's the Think Yourself Sexy feature written by Daisy Buchanan. Down in the frumps after watching Love Island. You're not alone. 1/5 of women say body insecurity is ruining their love lives. But, says this acclaimed author, you can become an irresistible goddess. And how does she say that? She says she's realised the sexiest organ is the brain. Yes, I just often look at people and think, wow, I'd love to fuck that brain.
A guy said that to me once.
The soft grey brain.
Without any kind of attempt at being funny, he actually said, very seriously, I think the sexiest organ is the brain.
Yeah.
At which point I knew it was stupid.
That's really, it's a dumb thing. I felt that my most sexy and tatty comfy leggings, she says. Why not? And inner spark, not outer shell, is what's attractive. I mean, in theory, yeah. In practice, no. Yeah, C122, sexy grey matter, just plunging into the sexy grey matter. There's a horrible story about a 3-year-old who was killed on a farm, in a farm accident, just horrible. Changing Rooms is returning with new presenters, newish presenters. It still will include Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen, who is dressed as an S&M pirate. Ed Kemper does really believe that the brain is the sexiest organ. Yes, that's true. Notorious serial killer Ed Kemper. Mark Gnosis, what could Sarah Vine and Fergie possibly have in common? What could their ex-husbands have in common? Impossible to say. The brain is the sexiest organ is very close to being Scylla from Heroes. Says Chronicum. It's pretty close, isn't it? The Bojo Comb-ometer, from bowl cut to the full Wurzel, hair-raising proof the PM's Barnet is a real barometer of his fortunes. It's one of those times when they really needed to fill some space. Absolute bullshit. Okay, on this day, August 6th, 2021, on this day in August 6th, 1964, the Daily Mail wrote, union chiefs are being urged to let women work as bus drivers and tube guards in London. A rail union official in London said, we don't think they would react quickly enough in emergencies. Anyway, they would be exposed to the danger of assault by roughs and drunks. As if living in the UK isn't that. Yes, thank you for the clip of me talking about fucking brains. Thanks very much for that, gas station. Happy birthday to Michelle Yeoh, who's 59. On this day, August 6th, 1986, the Daily Mail wrote, Dallas star Linda Gray is threatening to quit the TV soap if women in the series are forced to play second fiddle to the men. The Dallas sexual revolution is sparked by a decision to bring Bobby Ewing back from the dead. Miss Gray said to be told he's coming back to save the show didn't sit well. BBC Moonlight has 8 presenters paid more than £5,000 for their public speaking event. I'm no fan of this happening, but of course the Daily Mail have covered it in their usual style. Hugh Edwards made between 420... Hugh Edwards got paid by the British Insurance Brokers Association to talk to them. Justin Webb was paid to be a panel chairman for the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders. Emily Maitlis hosted an event for Ernst & Young, as did Clive Myrie. Dan Walker did an event for employee engagement specialist Best Companies. Michelle Hussein interviewed people for the business executive organisation World 50. Laura Lewington of BBC Click was moderated for an IP group, and Stephen Sacker was chairman for Switzerland's St Gallen University event. All of these people, most of these people paid in excess of £250,000. Hugh Edwards on £425,000. The notion that they can go off and be paid extra cash is, who cares? Somebody has the cash, free market. No, the problem with this C122, H122 is that if BBC News presenters do it, it is not appropriate for someone like Emily Maitlis, for instance, to take money from a big accounting firm like Ernst & Young. These are companies that come up in the news regularly. It's not if you worked it creates all kinds of conflicts of interest. Anyway, born on this day in 1937, Barbara Windsor, and also born on this day in 1928, Andy Warhol. On August 6th in 1960, Chubby Checker introduced the twist to the world on Dick Clark's Saturday night TV show. He explained, pretend you're wiping your bottom with a towel as you get out of the shower and putting out a cigarette with both feet. In 1984, Sebastian Coe won a second 800 metres Olympic medal in Los Angeles. As Lord Coe, he chaired the organising committee for the 2012 Games in London. Quote of the day: I'll not listen to reason. Reason always means that someone else always means what someone else has got to say, says Elizabeth Gaskell, the novelist, 1810 to 1865. Joke of the day. This is such an old one. What's the difference between a buffalo and a bison? You can't wash your hands in a buffalo. Right, moving on. Jan Moir, columnist of the year. According to who? According to who? I don't know. She's angry at Balenciaga for something. Says sports stars who sulk at silver, shame us all. Shame all, fuck you. And has a go at Jennifer Aniston. Paul Embry claims he has won a claim for unfair dismissal after a tribunal agreed he was a victim of a witch hunt. Paul Embry was accused of undermining the Fire Brigades Union by making a speech alongside Nigel Farage, but he's now successfully sued the Fire Brigades Union. A tribunal in Norwich, brings shame on my city, ruled in Mr. Embry's favour, arguing that it would appear from the start of the investigation process that there was an agenda to have the claimant removed. The judgment extracts, of which Mr. Embry posted online, continued. The investigation looked like no more than a witch hunt. Well, Embry's going to be very pleased about that, isn't he? Arrested milkman mistaken for a thief. A milkman on his rounds ended up in police custody when he was arrested on suspicion of being a burglar, apparently. Toxic movie Hollywood's too scared to show. His new film is a gritty real-life drama about a fishing town poisoned by industry, but the fallout from Johnny Depp's spectacular downfall has seen it quietly buried. Could it be that he looks ridiculous in it? That could be part of it. There's an open-air production of Mamma Mia, but some of the stars haven't been able to go because they can't travel to it. Billie Eilish's new record gets 4 stars from the Mail. Barbara Streisand only gets 3 stars. And, of course, George Harrison's reissue of All Things Must Pass gets 5 stars. Coins, a new coins ad. Coins. A unique set celebrating the history of aviation. Yours for just 5 instalments of £19.95 or £99.75. It's got the Montgolfier brothers, Otto Lilienthal, the Lepton airship, the Wright brothers, Louis Berriot, the Junkers Ju-52, the Spirit of St. Louis, the Supermarine Spitfire, the Messerschmitt, the Berlin Candy Bombers, Concorde, and Lockheed F-117. There you go. That's your full set. Coins. Person in the room says no coins. The book of the week is The Magic Box by Rob Young. History of British television. In the TV, Christopher Stevens gives I Am Victoria 2 stars, My Cornwall with Fern Britton 4 stars. Pick of the day is Motorhoming with Merton and Webster, 8 p.m, Channel 5. In the cartoons today, Garfield and his girlfriend are hanging out. In Chloe and Co., the artist is showing a picture of a plain white portrait, and it's a crap joke about abstract art. And Fred Bassett and Jock are out having a nice run around, and it's Jock's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday tomorrow, Jock, the cartoon dog. Good to see some Ged coins in the chat always. In the straight to the point letters, oh god, there's a letter from someone complaining about Karen being used as a term as abuse, so we're going to get to that in a minute. But here are the straight-to-the-point letters. Phil North of Lincolnshire says, a US satirical cartoon makes fun of the late Duke of Edinburgh for being old. What about President Biden? Yeah, because no one takes a piss out of Biden for being old. Lindsay Grinstead says, I've lost count of the number of times I've seen the Union flag upside down at the Tokyo Games.
No one cares.
No one gives a fuck. Brian James says, what does a great sport of squash have to do to get into the Olympics? Keith Thompson writes, if footballers are to be restricted in heading the ball to reduce dementia, what about boxing? Right, here are the poems before I read this letter from a woman who's called Karen, who's angry about the word Karen. Rhyme for Our Time with Apologies to the Monkeys from Gary Yar of Devon. Here we come, changing the name of your street. We've got a different agenda to everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the wokies. People say we're trolling around, but we're too busy preaching and putting other people down. We're not trying to be friendly. We just want you to conform. We don't care what history teaches. We will cancel it all before dawn. Hey, hey, we're the wokies. Gary, the divorce has hit you hard. I can see that. And the lyric today comes from Mike Mesterton Gibbons of Tallahassee, Florida, who says, for a memoir that's yet to be made, a king's ransom will shortly be paid, since a prince and his wife with expenses in life can't have royalty payments delayed. Ha ha. Oh, Jesus. Right, okay, here is the Karen letter. I am Karen. I am 50, white, middle class, and apparently a joke. Where does this sense of entitlement to denigrate my perceived identity come from? The BBC is even planning a social experiment TV series featuring women who share my name. I am a hard-working, tax-paying, university-educated, free-thinking, independent-minded, bleached blonde, a loving daughter, wife, mother, and friend. I am fully paid-up member of the silent majority who keep calm and carry on. I vote, follow the rules, volunteer to help others, give more than I take. I try to see things from other perspectives, despite feeling that my view can be overlooked. When it comes to the likes of homeschooling and getting involved with the PTA, I often feel my contribution is taken for granted. I speak up when I think greater clarity is required or feel there have been an injustice. I believe in seeing reasonable and tolerant. I will stand my ground when there is a misunderstanding or conflict, but I will listen to the views of others and strive to have greater understanding. I'm happy to be challenged about my preconceptions because I know I have blind spots, but I will not always say that I'm really feeling. Despite trying to be kind, my less popular views are not welcomed. My experience, however, grounded in substantial risk being discounted. When I express myself, you look the other way. Maybe when I'm saying is too hard to hear, I can feel angry about this and I might even express it, but I don't feel entitled to silence you. I realise strong reactions can provoke social and emotional deafness in some people, and they may overcompensate with mockery, but it's not funny. It's time to listen to our own reactions before we point a finger at others. Don't get me wrong. I know some middle-class women are smug privileged and think they're entitled to dismiss others. But to give that group my name, Karen, means the joke is on all of us. If such behaviours, which are the real issue, continue to go unacknowledged and unchallenged. Karen Footman of Warwick. Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. If you're not like that, then they're not talking about you. And that letter did have the energy, didn't it? I've got mainstream views is a serious red flag, red flag, red flag emoji. My views are very mainstream. I just believe bring back hanging. Yeah. Mark says, in one of the few comments they just said that I can read out on the stream, you are Jess Phillips and I claim my £5. Moving on. Today's recipe is roasted teriyaki veg bowl. Looks fine. Still trying to get you to go on cruises. Still trying to get you to move into an independent living facility. Still trying to get you to do equity release on your home. In the car section, they review the new Mustang Mach-E GT, which starts from £41,330. If you want some shock-absorbing shoes, of course you do. They're cushion walk, flexible shoes from just £20. Some of the ugliest shoes you can buy on the market today. In the sport, after a hellish ride at Last Time in Heaven, Barry Fries, thrilled his beloved Posh are finally back in the championship. Jack Grealish says he's over the blue moon. Martin Samuel says it's time to try out a game of football with no heading. Sky Bronze is result of ruthless recruitment. I'm king of the skies, says Liam Williams. And he insists he'll handle the Springboks aerial assault. English cricket has questions to answer over ailing Joshua Archer. Round 1 to Anderson. Jimmy dismisses King Kohli with first ball to drag England back into the test. Jolly Holly finally hits the heights after years of near misses. Holly Bradshaw getting bronze. Bouncing off the walls, Matt grabs GB's first cycling goal of the games. And on the back page, City's £100 million man champion smash record to snap up Jack. Now Messi is on market too. That is the Daily Mail, our final paper for this final episode of season 4 of the Paper Thing. Thank you all for joining me across the 69 episodes of this season. I will be back at a time to be decided on Sunday to ensure that Studying Fangirl can also tune in. But I will let you know what time that will be. What a season it was, this gas station. What a season it was. We've seen all the cursed shit going. If you've enjoyed this season and you've got some spare coins, do consider throwing some of them into the newspaper fund, which has been a little light recently. PayPal.me/conquest of the useless. And if you're on the Discord, I'll give you the link to the Discord. You can let me know what magazines you want to see featured in the special on Sunday. I will get them if I can.
Swimming for a mile and a half or something?
Yeah, I know, but I'll do it later in the day. Okay. I know I'm going swimming. It's fine. Anyway, there is the link for the Discord. Do join the Discord. Chats about the news and all that kind of thing will continue during the break. The normally scheduled programming of the show, the 1 p.m. show on weekdays, will return on August the 23rd for season 5, where I hope to have a load of new cool stuff. But the newsletter will also be going out daily throughout my holiday. So that's brokenbottleboy.substack.com. Thank you all, everyone who has been a subscriber and have been watching the show. And again, see you Sunday. And in the meantime, have a great weekend. Cheers all. Thanks, Lenka. Yes, I will, Ged. Thank you. I'm definitely going to try and up the production value. So some help from you and advice would be awesome. Markinosis. In conclusion, it was a season of contrasts. Nice one. Cheers all. Have a great one. Bye-bye.